Year one and all. Hope you had a lovely few days, whether you celebrate Xmas or not. I personally spent the time catching up on horror movies and consuming my weight in chicken fingers. I also played Nerf Legends, which came out towards the end of 2021, and god, I wish I'd noticed this and covered it sooner, because it could have been featured on a top and bottom 5 video. Serious question, who asked for this game? Was it you, Marcy? Or maybe you, Arbed? What about you, Billy? Those are the 3 names I can think of. Moving on. Honestly, I cannot fathom a reason for this game to exist. Nerf guns are quite fun to piss about with, sure, but I wouldn't think they'd be good video game material. Then came Nerf Legends, and it showed me how right I was to think that. Quickly, here's your reminder to like, share and subscribe, also check out my Patreon, link in the description. Nerf Legends sees you, the player, tackle a gauntlet of challenges to become the next Nerf master. A scientist that sounds like Torbjorn from Overwatch, and a robot that's only slightly less annoying than Claptrap guide you through a series of levels. Each level is filled to the brims with robots that you've got to shoot and the occasional puzzle. By puzzle, I mean sometimes you've got to shoot a button and not a robot. The game is a first-person shooter with a focus on platforming and mobility, nothing wrong with that, and the single-player mode seems to have about 3 or so hours of content, if I'm tallying that up right. It's not exactly the most amazing story in the history of stories. You're basically just running a series of training exercises and then you fight a boss. It's hardly thrilling, and some levels are really drawn out. I spent about 20 minutes in a room killing endlessly respawning robots before I noticed that there were buttons I had to press. Buttons at the tiny waypoint marker and objective list and a poor job of communicating. There's a lot going on the screen, you see. The environments are very colourful and enemies are everywhere with glowing weak spots and they fill the air with firepower. You'll have to forgive me for missing the tiny waypoint marker amongst the chaos, and the list of objectives is so small in the corner that I can barely read the bloody thing. I just have to keep going forward and hope I'm making progress. Not that this was a huge problem, the levels are linear, so, you know, you'll figure it out eventually. And these moments where I was trapped in the arenas with the endlessly respawning robots, it made it a lot easier to get the gold medals. See, each level awards you with either a bronze, a silver or gold medal when you finish, and these are tied to prizes. Though prizes is a bit of a generous term. Basically, you're awarded the ability to buy weapons when you win levels. Personally, I would have thought just giving you a prize at the end of a level would have worked. The funny thing is, it didn't take long for me to be able to buy all the weapons, and I still had thousands of credits left over afterwards. I suppose the credits are meant to be spent on perks for your guns, but you don't really need to because I didn't realise the guns even had perks until the final level. I'd somehow missed that up until then. All these perks really did was make the final boss into an absolute chump. Though, to be fair, the arena you fight him in didn't help. A powerful health pickup and a shield power-up that makes you invincible are found in this arena, so it's not like it's a big issue even if you didn't have the perks that made the damage in the gun 3 times as powerful. You can buy costume pieces, most of which look pretty much the same, so they really aren't worth it. Oh, that overly white jacket has a slightly different collar to this one. Oh, sign me up. I usually love cosmetics. Do you know how long I spend building my Demon Souls characters? Long enough for the police to write me off for dead, that's how long. The problem is, the cosmetics in Nerf Legends all look so similar that it's hardly worth worrying about. The hairstyles are all really generic, the faces don't look all that different. Again, the outfits basically look identical. You get a couple of somewhat interesting face masks towards the end, but yeah, you're not going to lose any sleep if you don't get them, are you? Let's be honest. I did like that you could colour your guns, but again, you didn't really bother with it. I made the 3 main guns I used green, and that was kind of the end of it. The rest of the money remained unspent because there was nothing I wanted to spend it on, and I don't feel the need to just buy shit just because I can. It doesn't help that the weapon selection is pitiful. I know for a fact that there are more Nerf guns in the real world than there are featured in this game. Where's the Nightfinder? Where's my lovely Maverick? Where's the Recon CS6? Where are the blasters based on Star Wars and Fortnite? I'm just saying, the selection is a bit bare bones. I like the look of a lot of Nerf guns, but naturally they're the ones that aren't even featured in game. Still, I found a selection of useful enough guns. My loadout was a sniper rifle, a shotgun and a pistol, and frankly, this loadout was completely broken. Most enemies have a limited range, so my pistol and rifle could off them before they even noticed I was there. And if shit hit the ventilator, well, the shotgun did a good job of mopping them up. Yeah, it ate through ammo like a whore, but enemies dropped plenty of ammo and there's a ton lying around anyway, so it's not exactly a tactical disadvantage to use this weapon. Some guns consume ammo, you see, and others don't. My frankly overpowered pistol did not drain an inch of Nerfium, as it is called, but my sniper rifle and shotgun both did, so I had to keep collecting ammo for them. The machine gun and SMG I started the game with didn't eat through ammo, but then the heavy machine gun and a pistol I got that fired 5 shots at a time did. I'm not really sure how the ammo assignment works in this game, if I'm being honest. It seems random as fuck. I think I'd rather the game either made me worry about ammo for all guns or for no guns. The middle ground is just, well, awkward. It's time for another awkward correction bit right in the middle of the video. I've just noticed watching the footage that I recorded for this video that, yeah, that first gun, it does eat through ammo. I didn't notice that at first. So I will correct that, my apologies. I was wrong there. It seems that the ammo assignment is a lot less fucked than I thought it was, which is actually alright, I suppose. I'm still not entirely sure why it bothered, because the ammo is everywhere. You're never gonna run low, unless... No, you're never going to run low, so I don't know why they bothered. I think it would have just been better if they hadn't bothered. It never actually got in the way of me playing the game, so... Anyway, back to the video. I should also point out that these guns level up with use. I didn't notice it making much of a difference to their performance, so God knows why they do. Maybe it's the thing that unlocks extra perk slots, don't know. There's only really one perk you need that makes your gun do more damage and you'll be absolutely fine. You also have melee weapons, which are basically no fun to use. Your character just slowly waves their arm towards an enemy and they take some damage, or in a lot of cases they just die immediately. There's not really a concern. I get that melee combat is not the focus of this game, but it could have made it a bit more weighty, couldn't you? Because there is no sense of weight. In fact, I can say the same for most weapons in the game. Save for the shotgun, most weapons feel really unsatisfying to use. Still, they're more fun to shoot with than anything available in Borderlands. But then I've used real Nerf weapons that were more fun to use than the guns in Borderlands, so it's not exactly a high bar to reach. Let's take a quick moment to discuss the bosses now that we're done shitting on the guns. Each boss is surprisingly easy. It's weird, they don't do much damage, they're fairly slow and possess rather weak AI, so they can't really do much but follow you around in circles. A couple of times they got stuck trying to jump onto platforms I was on, so I could just shoot them from above. It was pitiful. I had more trouble with their various minions than I did with any of them, because standard enemies deal way more damage and seem to hit me a lot more often. They also move around a lot more sporadically, so yeah. Somehow the boss was nowhere near as big a challenge as their minions. Each boss fight is 3 rounds, all you gotta do is kill the boss 3 times and you win. And one boss makes this way too easy for you. She's this robot, right, who creates this holographic corridor every so often that traps you in it. But it also traps her too, so I could just easily snipe and shotgun her when she triggered it. Other enemies couldn't get into it, and nothing could really happen until she turned it off. Still, the bosses make up only about 10% of the single player mode. What about the rest of it? Well, most of the levels are full of platforming challenges, which suck because though you can double jump, you can't steer in midair, so you can't course correct when you need to. There are these speedy boost rings that you will never really need to use unless the game uses them to get over death drops. Otherwise, there's no advantage to them whatsoever. I don't know why they're there. There are bouncy hollow pads that have about a 25% chance of functioning as intended. Sometimes they're so poorly placed that you have to dick around with the controls just to progress. I kept hitting ceilings and walls because they weren't put in proper places. I wonder if anyone tested these before the game was sent out. And the controls themselves are just a bit unresponsive. There was often a weird delay when I issued the reload command, or when I issued the shield command. Yeah, you get this barrier that you can hold up to defend yourself, but about 50% of the time the character just wouldn't do it, even if they weren't doing anything else at the time. Does the shooting at least save the game? Does it bollocks? Even the guns designed for accuracy have a notable spread. The aiming is slow and clunky feeling, made worse when you need to shoot moving targets whilst jumping through the air. Most guns have an annoyingly long reload time. And I already mentioned the weird ammo system earlier. Some guns physically slow your character to a crawl, which isn't ideal, but you can carry 3 at a time and switch between them at will, so it's not a big deal. I suppose it also makes more sense that a heavy weapon would physically slow you down, so I don't entirely hate this. I just switched to a pistol. If I needed to speed boost, it was fine. As long as one of your weapons is a pistol, and it will be, you'll be okay. Even if you do get dead, then the game just spawns you back to a nearby checkpoint with a slight docking score. What's weird is the HP counter never seems to actually go to 0, it stays at the last value you had before you took fatal damage. So I kept thinking, I had health, this is bullshit. Not realising that the devs just fucked up the programming a tad. It's not a very well put together game in general, to be honest. Background music just awkwardly drops out all the time. There are not many audiovisual cues for picking up health and ammo, and you need to be right on top of these to acquire it. The hitboxes are a little bit funny with that. Your gun clips through the wall in first person mode, which I've never seen a gun do before. I've seen it happen in third person modes, but I've never, usually games have a way of correcting that. Some levels have objectives that you can just skip and the game has no way to tell you to go back and do the thing. There was this one section with these crushers where I'm pretty sure the animations were the wrong way round for a couple of them. One of them slowly drops to the ground and snaps back up to the ceiling. That's gotta be, I'm certain that's meant to be going the other way. Quickly to the ground, slowly to the ceiling. That feels like what it should be doing, right? If I'm being honest, the game just had an amateur feel through and through. Considering it costs like 40 quid upwards, this really isn't good enough. I feel like if this had been an indie game, I might have been kinder towards it. And I did want to, because I kind of liked what the game was trying to do. I liked the setup of completing arenas and basic puzzles to advance. Sometimes the combat was approaching entertaining, but it's all marred by this aforementioned amateur feeling. One bit you're meant to slide down this corridor and shoot these targets as you go. but you can just walk down it if you really want to, or just stay at the top and shoot the switches from there and transit down without any issues. If you bump into something, you'll just stop anyway, so you can just walk down from there. What's the point of this bit? And now, a quick look at the multiplayer. There we go. This was all I saw of the multiplayer. I did not expect anyone else to be playing this anyway, but even then I'm still shocked. Whilst it is true I do my best to avoid exposure to game trailers and adverts, I usually know of their existence at least. Nerf Legends is just a game that appeared one day without ceremony, and I am betting it will fade into obscurity. You know, more so. The nicest thing I can say about this game is at least it didn't bug out or crash. In this day and age, that's a bloody rarity. It was stable enough, and sometimes the game approached a lofty height of almost entertaining. But it isn't worth the money or the time investment. No one else is playing this, so the online is a wash. All it can do is try to stand up on its single player mode, and I really don't advise that, because this leg is shaky and thin. So that was Nerf Legends. Kinda shit. It would probably have taken Lizard Lady and the Cat's place in my bottom 5 games of 2021. I kinda regret not giving it time sooner, because it would have been alright. You know, Lizard Lady versus the Cats is something I at least find entertaining in some fucked up way. Anyway, what a start to the new year. A forgettable FPS based on Nerf guns. Oh boy, I wonder what will happen next week. Perhaps we'll get a cooking game based on a Fisher-Price kitchen. I shouldn't say that out loud, I bet I've given someone an idea now.